If you couldn't read, you'd be a stranger in a strange land, such as filling out a job application, getting a driver's license, voting in an election, reading instructions for technology. All would be meaningless and terribly frustrating, and you wouldn't be alone. Out of 337 million Americans, over 90 million adults in the United States are illiterate.
Pull. Sure.
I would have to pull over so I could see the signs and sound it out, and if the letters didn't match and it didn't make sense, I would just keep driving.
Doug Collins sat in his room when he was a kid, frustrated, feeling stupid, and wishing that somehow the words would jump off the page.
I mean, it was truly devastating, but it was a kind of a secret kind of devastation. I couldn't really share with anybody. I just had to feel it all the time.
At age 40, after a lifetime of frustrated searching and much study, he discovered the code to pronouncing and reading all English words.
I just had this kind of an epiphany. It was like all of a sudden this whole way to teach reading just kind of was like a picture in my mind.
With commitment and passion, Doug Collins was able to create and develop the universal reading method.
From like 1 minute I was stupid and incompetent and hiding a big secret, and 2 hours later I was smart and had no secret.
And the whole idea was for them to decide that it was fun to read.
When I saw the amazing results he was getting teaching people how to read, that I brought to him.
It's so basic and so easy to understand.
I knew I would have to build a case that would convince others of what I had experienced.
Literally like 2 hours I could read. I think it was just under 2 hours.
1 billion people are currently learning English worldwide.
I flew over to London and I met with a British billionaire. Andreas Paniotto was his name. And he went public in the Evening Standard that he could not read. And after an hour and a half of me teaching him, he was able to read 333 multisyllable words.
It was embarrassing just to come into school and not really learn how to read. And
Naya sat and read the first 32 pages of our vampire book.
my mother drove me to the airport with windows rolled down.
So it was amazing watching my son work with Greg because he was so fully engaged. In addition, I actually watched him read a 19-letter word with 9 syllables.
I thought he just wanted to capture the avatar, May replied.
I've been comparing reading for a long time and reading about it since I was at the Bell Laboratories back in the early 1970s.
Dr. Schwartz is planning a scientific study at a major university to scan students' brains before and after teaching them with the universal reading method. The universal reading method can teach reading in a fraction of the time because the brain will store information forever.
It's as liberating as the Gutenberg press or the internet.
It's funny because Craig asked me if I felt any differently, and I felt an immediate shift in my body.
Now they can read. Now they have the world's encyclopedia not only at their fingertips, but in their brains where they can actually make judgments about it.
Today, technology allows us to have access to challenged readers anywhere in the world. Joseph Khoury is using speech recognition technology to design an interactive online program to teach the universal reading method.
We can combine the reading method with what we can do with cell phones, iPads, and computers. And we can recreate, and we can, as if cloning that professor into their iPad, and he can be teaching them wherever they are.
The secure online design assures the method cannot be pirated or stolen.
I love the project, and I decided to be part of it.
So if they're able to read in 2 hours, that would unlock the possibilities for their lives to be successful, to be able to have a whole new world.
Outside, always careful.
Replenishing in direct
complete, participate.
Laptop behind problem, complete, concrete, terminate, terminal.
He realized that in all those years of running away from some very high-flying jobs, he'd been fighting a dragon that didn't exist.
When 1 billion people in this world learn to read English through the universal reading method, it will be our best chance for peace.
I actually went from a 3rd grade reading level to, I guess, a college level in 2 hours. Actually, 1 hour and 50 minutes, thanks to Craig and the universal reading method.